So 1990, you're back in the championship hunt. You and Mark Martin are like at it tooth and nail. There's not a lot of points between you. Fall race at Charlotte, you come in for a stop, and he leaves pit road, and the tires fall off. What happened?
This is very funny. I went to the auto fair. Today's Wednesday.
Yeah.
Went to the auto fair Saturday or Sunday last weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm restoring a Model T, and some guys I know that have helped me with it were coming up to pick up some parts, and they said, you want to go out front and look at some of the Model Ts are out in front of the racetrack. I'm like, sure. So we would go down pit road and actually went across the opening by the condos. And, I see the grassy spot down there where we ran out there and changed those tires. And I get so many pictures now that I've never seen before. A lot of them from Chris Hussey.
Yeah, yeah.
And, back then when Chobat and those guys would bring you every picture that they took so you could buy pictures. And I see so much stuff now that people send to me that I've never even seen before. And there's multiple pictures of us changing tires down there in the grass with the cars going by. NASCAR was not happy about that at all, but you were using 3 guns at the time. And that's also the race. It's a 2-part story. 2 cars got together and hit the right side of our car on a pit stop. And we were already around on the left-hand side, or it would have really, no telling what would have happened. Because you can look in those pictures of us down there changing the tires, and you can see all the right side damage. I can't remember who it was. Somebody, I want to say it was Ernie and somebody.
I think Kowicki.
Ernie and Kowicki.
Yeah, yeah.
And they spin and hit the right side of our car flat. It would have been really bad. And Richard actually went to him after that race and said, there's no pit road speed. And, could have lost all my guys right then. And that was October race, I guess, and then we went to Atlanta.
Yeah.
When that deal happened to the 9 car. But anyway, so I go to that car show, and we're walking out, and I'm like, man, look, we ran down during the damn race using 3 guns. Back to that story. Sorry for skipping around on you. And the left side lug nuts were loose, and he thought it was a 2-tire stop. And so he just leaves with no lug nuts on the left side. And you can remember the old Charlotte, as you left pit road, there was a kind of a hump where it went down back toward the racetrack. And when it went over that hump, both left side tires shot off. And, Kirk, being Kirk, was like, what'd you leave for? It was just miscommunications. And so without thinking, we just grabbed 2 tires and some sockets and ran down there and a jack. It was Chocolate and Danny, Bobby Moody, John Malloy, and there was like 5 of us just ran down there and did it. And
you were one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And ran down there and picked the car up and put the jack underneath because it had no tires on it. And all we could do to get the tires underneath it. And people were throwing stuff at us and, booing and looking up at that condo, it looked like the Empire State Building.
All right, so I have always been of the opinion that won the championship that year.
It probably didn't hurt, but that was a definition of how we approached it, and there was a race before that. You'll probably remember more than me. At Bristol asphalt track, when everybody would blister tires, and we popped a rear tire off a 4, and it spun, and the car was sat down on the ground, and it wouldn't go. And he comes on the radio. He's sitting there. The car won't crank. That's what it was. He kept hitting the starter. It wouldn't go. And he said, "Come push it." And we're like, "Come push it." The caution's out at Bristol. Yeah. And he said, "You want to win this championship? Come push this damn car." So we ran out on the track and pushed him off.
Wow.
So that's twice we ran on the racetrack during the race. that I don't know that anybody else was stupid enough to do that. But that pretty much defined that group of guys, was there was really nothing we weren't going to do.
So we just talked about this a couple weeks ago on the show, 2 or 3 weeks ago on the show. We just happened to talk about that issue, the Charlotte issue. And you guys, each of you that went out, were fined $100.
I couldn't even have told you that. I didn't even remember that.
And there were 5 guys who got hit with $100 fine.
Yeah, now you would have been kicked out permanently, probably.
And to exchange a championship for $500.
I know we didn't pay it. Richard must have paid it because we didn't pay it. $100 was a hell of a lot of money to us back then.
Yeah.